What's up? I'm Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Back again with a comic review. um, oh, like the new shirt, like the shirt. Sorry, found it. I've been looking for this shirt. The Fabulous Four, as you can see. You got Mr. Fantastic, Thing, Sue, and Johnny. They're like a hip hop group. It's kind of cool. I finally found this shirt. I've been looking for it for a while. Um, so as always, you come here to look for what the kid has to talk about the books that came out this week, and I got a few books for you. A few. Granted, because once again, we've been getting my comic star's been getting getting short-handed on some of the issues. So a lot of books that I wanted for the following week of June, I couldn't get, even though today is July. I'm still carrying what came out the last week of June, but I still have a good amount of books. Let's just say about 15 for you guys, okay? So let's kick it off, shall we? All right, so we're gonna kick it off. Still in Marvel, we're still representing June, so the lineup has not changed. So we'll still kick it off with Marvel, then DC, then Independent. All right, so first off, the world's tastiest superhero, Amazing Spider-Man, number 688. That is a badass cover. Can you get a look at that? Get a look at that. Um, Man, you got the lizard chomping down on Spidey's throat. Um, First of all, I'd like to say big up to my girl Destiny. Get well, babe. As always, I know you're feeling really sick. Get well, as always. All right. So Dan Slott and Cam Camu Camulico. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name, sir. Is the artist on this? Um, this starts off with a bang, really. We see it kind of starts off like in the present, and then it goes to the past of how this led up to there. And I'm fine with that. But when they start overdoing it, like what they're doing, how they do it in Batwoman, then I'm not really cool with it. But we see Pete and the Lizard just going at it in the sewers, and you see Pete talking about, I don't know how many times I punched this guy and things like that. And you're trying to figure out, why is Peter fighting the Lizard all of a sudden? Then we start going back. Then we go to what happened. And lo and behold, we find out that Peter's still, he's still grieving over the death of, Silver Sable's questionable death. And we find out that Mary Jane, she owns a nightclub now. she throws a party for Peter and the people of Horizon, and he starts to talk to her about, why he's not really in the mood. She kind of understands, but she's still kind of like, you did everything you could. And then Peter goes on to say that quote that he's always said: when he's around, nobody dies. And I loved how Mary Jane said, you know what, Tiger, that is a really stupid quote to say. And he's like, huh? He's like, that's impossible. You can't be everywhere at one time. Nobody could do that. You're still only human. And as much as I would kind of be on Peter's side, like, okay, but I gotta agree with Pete on that. I gotta agree with MJ. Like, yeah, Pete, that's kind of, we all want to believe in that, but you can't do it. You can't do that all the time. And then he gets a call from Carly, um, his ex-girl, and tell him that someone has dug up Billy Connor's grave. They get a description. He was pale. He was unhumanly strong. Peter knows exactly who that was. Goes to Horizon. Where is he? Talking about Michael Morbius, the living vampire. We find out Morbius has defied the plan to get Kirk Connors back to normal, for the Lizard to be completely wiped out of his system, and he needed the DNA of his deceased son. And that's where it leads up to what happens now. And do they succeed in making Kirk Connors back to Kirk Connors? I'm not gonna spoil that for you. But other than that, good read, good book. Dan Slott still killing it, bro. Um, Amazing Spider-Man number 688. Good stuff. All right, so we kick it off. Keep it in Spider-Man. Part 2 of the most astonishing superheroes of two worlds. Spider-Man number 2 of 5. This was really funny. So the two Spider-Mans have met. Peter and Miles. They're looking at each other and they're like, Peter's like, okay, so who are you? How old are you, kid? Are you Peter Parker? What did you say? And then they kind of, there's a little tussle at the beginning. They're trying to, you know, Peter finds out that Miles can do things that he can't do, like go invisible. He's got that, the venom sting and things like that. And, Miles kind of, I give him credit. Yeah, Miles kind of shows Peter up a little bit, even at his young age. Because, yeah, he does have some things that Peter does, but still there's the experience factor that kind of kicks in. But we all know that this is a ploy that has been done by Mysterio, old fishbowl head, um, and he goes into the dimensional portal that he was looking in from the first issue. Um, Miles takes Peter to basically Nick Fury. Nick Fury has Peter on lockdown. He's like, "Do you know who I am, Peter Parker? Uh, who are you, Nick Fury? I know the name. The patch looks good, but you don't look like the Nick Fury I know." You know, and it was really interesting from there. Um, Nick Fury believes Peter Parker. He's like, so you just believe me that I'm from another? He's like, yeah, of course I do. He's like, yeah, of course I do. Gives him back his web shooters and things like that, and tells Miles to take him around. Get his head to understand where he's at, and then bring him back here so we can figure out what to do. And that's pretty much where what looks like it's just going to be an easy transition. Something goes wrong, and I'm not going to explain who that was. Not going to spoil too much for you guys, but yeah, it's still a fun read. Pichelli's artwork is really good. I've always said I wish she comes back on the original Ultimate Comics because I like the way she draws Miles. But other than that, it was fun. This has been really fun. I'm glad I picked it up. Very good. All right, and we kick it off in none other than Wolverine The X-Men number 12. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Bah. Kid Gladiator up there. Jason Aaron's and yeah, Chris Bacchio's back on the artwork. You guys should know how I feel about Chris Bacchio. I'm not a big fan of his artwork. But like I said, it's tolerable. I can tolerate it. But as you all know, the X-Men have declared war on the Avengers now. The Phoenix Five, as they're called. And the Avengers are pretty much on the run. And in this book, we see what Rachel Summers, how she feels about this and whose side is she on. And in this book, we get a good reminisce of what she was in the future she comes from. She was a hunter for other mutants. She would hunt down other mutants. And now she's reminiscing, and now that's exactly what she's doing once again, hunting down, Hope and things like that. But also, we get a good in-depth story of, you know, Scott and her. Technically, yeah, Scott is her daughter, is her father, and things like that. And we get a pretty in-depth battle with some of the X-Men and the Avengers. Kid Gladiator's there, and he's fighting the Avengers, and you see him trying to pick up Thor's hammer, and he's like, "I got it. It's jerking a little bit, and it's not moving at all. Mjolnir is not moving. We see a pretty decent battle between Thor and Namor. Um, you know, uh, Angel Archangel does some new abilities in this that actually was whoa. Okay, that was interesting. He was fighting War Machine, and he was like, I actually like the other Iron Man a lot better than you. The cover Spider-Man is not in this issue at all. or Thing. Um, and I loved, Kid Glider is like, oh, is there anybody that was worthy enough to fight me and everything like that? And Wolverine just shows up. And he's like, oh, well, you have to do. And so it looks like, he's just pounding Wolverine down. He's like, that's all you got? Like, come on. And he's like, come on, Wolverine, bring out your shink. Do that shink thing. And Wolverine's like, you know what, kid? There's a reason why I'm considered the best in the world at what I do. There's a reason why I've done more than you, because I know the human body. I know pressure points, and I know yours very well. And he hits him in pressure points, and Kid Guy just falls. And the word of advice, kid, stay in school. I was like, that was cool. That was cool. But yeah, it's really sad to see like Thing and Bobby go at it. Thing and I mean not Thing and Bobby, Hank and Bobby going at it. Iceman, they were like, Iceman said, "Look, Hank, look, man, you're one of my oldest friends." Things like that. And Hank's like, "Yeah, I understand that, but when you start getting some sense into your head that all this is going to end wrong right now, we can't be friends right now. This is not the way." And I'm looking more at it now from a point of view of why the Avengers are fearing the X-Men. You all can say what you want about the X-Men, like they're the bad guys in this, but let's face it, power corrupts, and we all know that this Phoenix power is gonna corrupt them, and we kind of gets a little bit of tidbit in this book of that it is corrupting them, and you can say what you want about they're helping everybody and everything like that, but in the next issue, which I'm gonna show in a little while, you get a more in depth what they fear. But this was still good. Aaron's does a great job. Does Rachel find hope? Um, Let me spoil it for you guys. I'm sorry, guys. She does, but does she bring her back to? No, she doesn't. And she tells Cyclops, "I lost him." But she doesn't like it any more than she doesn't like it. She really doesn't like being a hunter like she was back in her future. All right, and this next up, the last Marvel book that I got, um, Christoph Gage, uh, X-Men Legacies 269. Yeah, look who's on the cover. All right, so we should have figured that this was gonna happen. These two characters, one, two, were gonna meet, and these two ladies have a huge history, don't they? But the differences in this book, Carol came here to talk. Rogue went into this thinking it was an ambush, so she threw the first punch, and that's where it got. And so yeah, Carol had to defend herself, but Carol came here to talk. She wanted to talk to because of they have history, and she respects Rogue. She does. She thinks Rogue is doing great for her life, but she was basically explaining to her, look, they're your friends. Think about everything. Things are going to change for them. And if they don't, you think they're going to be all good and lovey-dovey and help the world and everything, basically what I was just talking about earlier. The power is going to corrupt them. And, Rogue's, she doesn't want to hear it. She's listening, but she doesn't want to hear that. And she goes on about, yeah, it was really hard to root for any of these girls in there, especially in the fight they had, because I love both of these girls. So it was kind of hard for me to root for anyone. I'm like, I'm not saying go Carol, go Rogue. I'm just like, okay, somebody get it over with. Somebody do something so it can end, please. Because I was really feeling for both of them, but I really understood where Carol was coming. But what I really didn't like with Rogue Dick is she tried to absorb Carol again, and Carol just got pissed. She was like, I can't believe you did that again. Like you went that far. I can't believe after everything you went there. You went that route, and I gotta admit, yeah, that was bad, Rogue. I had to like look at Rogue like, come on, Rogue. You put this woman in a coma last time for years when you absorbed her before. So why would you do it again? You trying to kill her again? Like you trying to kill her this time? it really got a little to the point where I was like, just end this fight, please. You know, Gage did a good job, and to point sometime, I think in this X-Men Legacy just be called Rogue, because he does such a fabulous job with Rogue. But in the end, yeah, it ended, and Rogue called in Ileana to come get Carol, and Carol basically told Rogue, just watch them, Rogue. I'm telling you, it's not gonna end well. Gotta believe me. Like, I didn't come here to fight you. And um, Ileana came and took Ms. Marvel. But here's the kicker, and I gotta explain this. She was like, we're gonna put them somewhere where they'll never be able to get out. Ileana, showing right now, already showing here that this power is corrupting them. She brought a smidget of limbo to Earth and threw Ms. Marvel in there, in the prison, in limbo. And I'm like, and just the look of Rogue's face was like, I can't believe you did that. Like, oh my God, like, they may be right. You guys are getting corrupted by this power. And that's what I think how this is going to end. This whole limited series is going to end, the series of X-Men, Avengers vs. X-Men. A lot of the X-Men that are siding with them are going to start realizing that they're getting corrupted. They're getting corrupted, and the Avengers are right. We all should have known better than this. And that's how I said it from the get-go, how this event is going to end. They're going to be like, okay, we're with them, you know, we're doing good and everything like that, but I've already said it. X-Men should have known better with the Phoenix, period. The Phoenix is nothing but a giant cosmic H-bomb ready to explode. Nobody can control that power, and they should know better than that. But that's how I see it, and that's how I think this series is going to end. That's just how I look at it. But those are the only Marvel books, only 4. So we move on to DC, and let's kick it off with none other than Jeff Johns and Ivan Reyes, Aquaman number 10, Blood Feud. Yeah, we get a real in-depth look at, yeah, this is a blood feud between them, Black Manta and Arthur, Aquaman. We get some really in-depth story, especially from Dr. Shin, who's talking to Mira about what went between these two. And it gets very, very heavy. And I don't want to spoil a lot. That's why I'm trying to keep it really, really quick and cool, calm. But we see a badass fight between Manta and Aquaman in this. We get an in-depth of the story of where this feud began. It gets really in-depth. Just really good, stunning, good writing from Jeff Johns. Yeah, he does a great job on this book. He has been superb on this book. I can't say that much about his other works, but yeah, there's good stuff, people. And yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to spoil a lot for Aquaman. Just good stuff. Read it, pick it up, get it. You'll love it. All right. Next up, The Dark Knight. Batman, The Dark Knight number 10. David Finch is not pulling double duties anymore. He's just the artist now. We have Greg Hurwitz. He's the writer, Cycle of Violence. I believe this is the introduction of, they say the Hollow Man, but I'm thinking this is actually a Scarecrow. But it just a little more creepier, indeed. Man, if it is, they just really just get creepy with Scarecrow in this. Don't want to spoil too much for this book either, but it was really interesting, very in-depth and creepy indeed. I wonder what my mentor Blue Goblin thought about this. Big ups. So I really do, but I don't want to spoil too much in this book either. But I thought it was a really freaky delish story from Mr. Hurwitz. And of course, David Finch's artwork is superb, no problem. Nobody can deny that. Yeah. All right, moving on. Flash number 10. Look who he's up against. Weather Wizard. Yeah, Weather Wizard makes it clear. Francis Melipool. Now I know There's some people, there's some friends of mine that are not feeling what Francis Menapool is doing with Flash, but I do. I think he's doing a bang up job. In this book, we actually get to feel a little bit more for Barry. Barry's been going through a lot lately in the past. He's been in the Speed Force. He's fought uh, a character from World War II named Turbine. He went into the Speed Force to find Iris West. He hasn't found him. He flies into Gorilla City, where he is believed to be this chosen one, and he meets a gorilla that wants to kill him, everything like that. But now he's back, and he comes down to um, somewhere in Central America, I believe, to find Patty, basically his lover, because she was investigating the death of Weather Wizard's brother, and it really gets in depth in there. But the fact is, Barry has to still make that everybody Barry's dead, and that's where it constantly gets really good in this, because after he's dealing with Weather Wizard, um, we find out who killed his brother, and I'm not going to spoil that. Crazy. He Patty basically starts to talk to him afterwards, and she at first she knows that it's not his fault or what happened, because in this book Barry was going to tell her that he was a Flash, that he's alive, but he doesn't. He feels that if people think he has, basically it comes down to, if people think Barry Allen is gone, then he has to stay that way. But I'm like, you know what? I can't see him being Flash 24/7. It can't go that route. And no superhero can be their alter ego for long, for 24 hours. Not even Superman. He can't be Superman 24 hours. He has to be Clark Kent. He can't, so it does come down to that. But this was still good, but it's just who killed um Weather Wizard's brother. I mean, he gets gunned down, but I'm talking mafia style. And when he finds out who does it, whew, crazy stuff. But it was good, very good. It was good to see Weather Wizard. Next up is Heat Wave. Comes up next. Yeah. All right, moving on to Fury of Firestorm. The Nuclear Man, number 10, Ethan Van Sciver, Joe Harris. Bow before Rak Shashi, the Indian version of the Nuclear Man, Nuclear Woman. India's. We get to see a little bit more in depth of what's going on with Jason, and we also get to see what's going on with Ronnie and how his powers are developing. Pretty much, we are introduced to this character here, Rak Shahi. I hope I'm saying her name right. And how she feels about damn, I'm forgetting this one. Them going rogue and everything like that. But Ronnie really is like, I can't deal with this guy right now. I got to get out of here. You know, uh, but that's pretty much mostly what it's all based on. Just what's going on with Jason and Firehawk, and what's going on with Ronnie, pretty much. And that's pretty much the full basis of it. Not bad at all. Not superb, but not bad. All right. Yeah. Oh my God. And moving on. Green Lantern and New Guardians 10. Die, Blue Lanterns die. Tony Bedard, sir. I salute you. I bow to you, sir. This was excellent. Once again, if you are a Saint Walker fan, you are going to love him in this book. Once again, the Reach are on the home planet of the Blue Lantern, and they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their survival. Kyle and Achilleo, I hope I'm saying his name right, along with Fatality, basically comes there to help out. And they're just fighting for their lives. Really, guys. You really feel bad for the Blue Lanterns here. You're like, what have the Blue Lanterns done to deserve this, really? But they're fighting for them. They're not giving up. They're not giving up without a fight. And we see that in this book. We see this very, very much, and I loved it. Um, Especially when Kyle comes down, and then all of a sudden, the Blue Lanterns, a lot of their is like, for one thing, like Lantern, when Blue Lanterns and Green Lanterns come together, Green Lanterns get a recharge from them, and the Blue Lanterns, you saw it. It was like willpower detected, blah blah blah. Okay, unlocking constructs, unlocking beams. I was like, oh shoot, like it was really cool. And we saw the Blue Lanterns just try to give it all, but Kyle saw something from the Earth, from planet wise of what the Reach is trying to do, and he basically tells Saint Walker, you got to get your people off the planet. You got to live to fight another day. And I loved what Saint Walker said. Damn you, Kyle. Like, and he constructs a chain and gets his people off. But then basically he says, and matter of fact, let me just show you what he says. All right. Basically, Saint Walker says this. He says, basically, Larfleeze, Lord of the Orange Lantern, has played us all for fools. It's time he answers for his crimes. Dun dun dun. So now it's everybody against Larfleeze. And I gotta give Arkelio, I hope I'm saying his name right, a lot of credit, because he was wielding a ring that really isn't the Yellow Lantern ring. Yellow Lanterns are finished. He was like a prototype ring, but it still did it well. But yeah, wow, you got to give it up to Saint Walker in this very much. This was so good, guys, very good. All right, and for everybody who's dropped this from their pull list, that's why you come to me, because like I said, there's only one reason why I continue to read this book, because it has a certain character on it that I can only find in this book. Yes, Justice League number 10. We get the introduction of the whole villain that has been built up for a while, and that's what he looks like right there on the cover. His name is Jeffrey Shaves. He was actually an author who wrote the first book about the Justice League after they fought Darkseid, and after that he blames the Justice League for ruining his life, ruining his family, everything like that. So he goes to gods. They actually show some individuals in here, and they gave him these powers, and he knows. It's basically like he knows everything about the Justice League that even the League doesn't even know about one another. So it kind of gave a little sense like, yeah, even the League are still not really, knowing about each other. They don't know everything about each other. Cyborg does, because if there's a computer or anything, wow, he could just look it up. But he was like, Batman still doesn't trust anybody on the team. Superman's like, well, he trusts me. We've worked a lot more outside of the League, everything like that. We got a more in-depth look of certain things. But yeah, that was pretty much it, But it's still, once again, it's the Gary Frank, it's Jim Lee's Shazam story that really is the key to this book. Once again, in the next issue, we see basically, Billy, he goes to the zoo to talk to his tiger friend, and we also know who the tiger is, Tommy, and Freddie Freeman follows him out there, and wants to know why, everything like that. He feels that Tony is still the only family he has left, and you know, this is a little different take with Billy. He's more like the people that adopted him are not his real family, even though a lot of the other adopted kids, like I said, Freddie Freeman, Mary, and all of them are like, this could be a home for you and everything like that. They're good people. You know, Billy's kind of putting up, that wall, like, well, they're not my parents. And then of course in the last issue, Billy dealt with a couple of rich punk bullies of the school, and Billy taught them a lesson. And then he even got in the face of their rich daddy, who was like, if you don't do anything about it, I'll use my influence to get you out of. And Billy's like, bring it, come on, like just I don't care. And so Freeman is talking to him while they're at the zoo, and they're like, look, I know how we can get back there. And then Billy puts a smile on. Then 40 miles away, uh, you know, um, we got Dr. Savannah basically still searching the ruins, and he's now kind of seeing the magic in one of his eyes, so he's able to read the transcripts very well, and it's a tomb for a certain character that we all know, and when Dr. Savannah opens it up, who do you think is there? I think his name starts with a B and it ends with an A. Yeah, and I gotta admit, he looks badass. You know what? Once again, people, let me show you what this character, what he looks like. All right, booyah, Black Adam in the flesh. And look what he says. Where is the wizard? Yeah, you know what? The hooded look on him makes him look even more sinister. He looks like the Dark Overlord. He looks badass. Gary Frank's artwork just really basically incorporated that dark and grittiness to him and the anger that he's showing. Like, yeah, where's the wizard? He's gonna pay for his crimes and things like that. But yeah, it was good. Once again, the Shazam story is the best in this book. Okay. Next up, Superman number 10. All right, let's get really quick. In the grips of Angerish, that's her name, the woman that can't be touched, but she can touch you. This woman just got daddy issues. Her stepdaddy used to beat her, blah blah blah. I'm sorry. You know, she 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 went to this bank and in this safety deposit box to get a locket of her mother. Superman takes it, and we all know what goes from there. But still, in the key factor of the girl has daddy issues, and Superman has to stop her. But it stops it the old-fashioned Superman way of being the Boy Scout that he is. He at first it looked like she broke the locket that she was broke, so she went all crazy on him. And there was still this piece of going around of who's Superman, and people were thinking that Superman was this guy, and she went after the guy's family and everything like that. But it's just a traditional Superman story, nothing big, nothing fancy, just a old-fashioned Superman story of showing his big Boy Scout self. Next up, Teen Titans number 10. Solace and Kid Flash in the race to extinction. All right, the team are on this prehistoric island where all these prehistoric creatures are. They're trying to get their bearings of what's going on. Red Robin is still really upset. Tim is still really upset about a lot of things that went down. Skitter, of course, he promised her sister that she would take care of him. Losing another member that was working undercover and things like that. And then you got Bunker really trying to tell him, like, we can help you. Like, you don't always have to go off on your own and be a dick about it. And then there's a really good story with a really good one-on-one talk with Superboy and Kid Flash and Tim about what's going on. Him thanking them for coming after him and things like that. And Tim's like, really, I can't take all the credit, but I think you would have done the same. And Kid Flash, Superboy was like, I don't know if I would have done that, and and then Tim is more like, I understand you've only been out of your test tube pretty much only like 3 months, but we can help and everything like that. And they shake on it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it's more about the team getting back with the final act. That certain individual that was working undercover gets them back home. And we get to see kind of a really good. We're still seeing a very good development between Bart and Solstice here. She's really, they're really becoming like really cool with each other, and that was fun. But it seems like Amanda Waller's up to something at the end of the book. Yeah. And I gotta agree with my mentor. I miss big Amanda Waller. I like the big, thick Amanda Waller than this skinnier, Amanda Waller. I like the big. She's still a bitch, but I miss the big set, heavy set Amanda Waller. But the next issue is more about the origin of Wonder Girl, which I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull that off. And I wonder if they're still going to keep it that she's still the daughter of Zeus or not. So this is going to be good to me. Um, yeah, Teen Titans. All right. So that is all DC. Now we kick it off. We end it with Independent. And the first one, bro, Ty, Deadpoolzilla, I'm hoping you're watching this. IDW, Star Trek Generations, and Doctor Who, #2. uh, this kind of explains a little bit of how the Doctor and how they met up in 1941 San Francisco. We find out that actually that was just one of the starship's holographic simulations that they were in, and somehow the Doctor and the gang ended up plump dab right in the middle of there, and we get a really good in-depth of it was really funny because the Doctor's all in awe of Data. He's like, oh my god, like look at this, so synthetic. Did you make him and everything like that? And Data's like, please can you refrain from touching me, like stop touching me, like things like that. It was really funny when the Doctor met Worf. He was like, wow, a Cleon. I never thought I'd see another Cleon. I'm like, whoa, and it was really good to see the Doctor meet Captain Picard, and he's like, and you're the Doctor. The Doctor of what? It's just the Doctor. Just call me that. And then that's when they really get in depth of what happened on the planet between the Borg and the Cybermen. I was saying Cybermen last time. I'm sorry. And how they teamed up and everything like that. And the Doctor's like, we should not be here. And Captain Picard's like, yeah, I believe so. But the next issue looks like the Borg or I believe the Cybermen are going to take a trip back in time even more and deal with the previous Starship Enterprise team before Jean-Luc Picard. And we all should know who I'm talking about. But this was still fun. The Tipton, I think they did a very good job on this. The artwork is just really good. Like I said, it's that painted style, which is really cool. I love that. Just really fun stuff, guys. Very good, very good. I love the interaction between Data and the Doctor. That was the funnest. That was the best part in the book. Very much fun. Next up, still in IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #11. Kevin Eastman, let me just salute you again. We're getting a little bit introduced to the Purple Dragons in this. But mainly this book showcases one person. Master Splinter. Yes, Splinter in this book is phenomenal. They just show why Splinter you should respect that rat, because he takes out nearly the entire Foot Clan, some of the Foot Clan's super hybrid ninjas, mutated ninjas, and then is basically telling Shredder, come on, let's go, you're next. While the Turtles are still trying to get everything together, and they're trying to figure out how, and that's where they run into the Purple Dragons. Casey Jones comes and tells them who the Purple Dragons are and who this character Angel is, and the Purple Dragons go on to say that they know about some of the Turtles and they know about the ninjas and everything like that. And they devise a plan to get into finding Master Splinter. But yeah, this was just superb once again. Just really good stuff. I don't even want to spoil too much for it. If you are a Turtles fan and you've been liking what Kevin Eastman has been doing with this book, keep reading. Splinter was just fantastic in this book. Thank you, Mr. East. Thank you very much. All right. And now, something new to my comic reviews. As you saw with that said, new to the pull list. We're going back to Boom Studios. Now, if you've been following me over, you only know I'm only reading one Boom Studio book, and that's Valiant. Now I add another one. I picked up this book. I've been hearing about it. And I gave it a try. And David Abined, and Andy Lanning give us the Hypernaturals. Number 1. All right. The Hypernaturals are this interstellar team, and they're known worldwide, galaxy-wise, all over. All of a sudden, one mission, poof, they're gone. So now, basically, it is up to some of the veteran members that have retired from the team. As you can see here, Inkwell, Bewilder, and Clone 45 here, that's their names, basically team up with some of the newer recruits to find what happened to the team. And that's pretty much the gist of this book so far. And it was really good. It was like I won't say it's like the Legion, but the way David Abingdon and Andy Lanning, how they write it, it was like a good, spy, intergalactic spy, criminal theme to it. But it was interesting to see what these members are like. Inkwell, who actually, it's funny, it's like his fingers leak ink, and he could turn the ink, it almost looked like blood, but he can use it to write, or he can use it like a whip. Clone 45, he has like these big cannon guns that he uses. And Bewilder is like, she can transmutate herself into certain things, make herself accelerate faster, become stronger, things like that. But yeah, this was fun. I must admit, not bad for the first issue. I'm gonna stay on board, see where it goes from there. But if I start weaning off, I may take it off. But as of right now, they got me kind of hooked, and I've never been disappointed in what Boom has done so far. So, like I said, I'll give it a try. But yeah, something new to my pull list, guys. Once again, the Hypernaturals from Boom Studios. I love that cover, though. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So, that is it, guys, for this week. I'll be back next week, God willing, as always. I'm sorry, guys, for not giving a shout out, but you know what? As I always say, everybody gets a shout out because I appreciate everybody who watches my reviews and like my reviews. I try, guys. I really do. I just try to have fun with these and entertain you guys and inform you guys on maybe books that you're not reading, and vice versa. You guys do the same thing for me. You guys, there are some books I'm not reading, so you give me a little bit of premises of what's going on in certain books, and I appreciate that. Much love and respect for you guys doing that for me. But other than that, this is Mount Vernon Kid just saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep real. I will see you guys next week, as always. The slogan. Oh, oops, sorry. I'm doing my fantasy fight slogan. Sorry. You guys stay easy, take it cool. I'm out.